Does everyone know what this chart pattern is? Drop a 1 if you know what this chart pattern is. And the reason why I ask is because this chart pattern, you're going to see it across many different tickers today. Now, Nigeria, you do not. I'll cover it in a second. Is this a bullish or bearish chart pattern? Very bearish, right? Very bearish, very bearish. So with that being said, let's go into trading view and let's cover. You could have traded these different tickers. Does everyone remember when I said keep an eye on 415, the 415 level? Anyone remembers when we talked about that last week on Thursday? 415 was that critical level where we saw that at this moment, that was the next level of support, right? So we had this range here. We had this range between 415 and 424. That's why that day on Thursday, once we saw that we broke above 424, we said, you know what, if we do break above 424, it does mean that the bulls are definitely present and we may head up higher. If we look at right now, I mean, we literally just gave up another critical support level, which is this one. This level right here of 410 is a very critical level for SPY. And this was on this date of February 24th. That's when we actually printed this, this support level. 415 was the critical level that we were watching. Why? Because look at this pivot that we have here, a critical pivot that we were able to bounce off the next day. So if we break below 415, this day here, which I think was Friday, this was the instant put opportunity. Why? Because we just gave up this pivot, and we also gave up this pivot. So all of these are actually within the same area from 414 to 415. That right there lets me know that we should definitely plot this level. And if we do break that level below, we should definitely see some downside continuation. So just looking at this right now, quick question to everyone. Looking at the candlestick that we are plotting today, this candlestick right here, which is, this is today. Who's in control today? Who's in control? Are the buyers or the sellers in control? Sellers. Why are people saying sellers? For those that are saying sellers, please come off mute and give your analysis on why you believe it's sellers. The candle's red. Okay. So Johnny said no one. Wicks don't lie. Okay, I like that. Indecision.
It broke below the previous candle.
So that's definitely a good thing. So I mean, if we look at the previous low, it was this level of 411. We definitely broke below 411 and we were able to test 409. So that's one thing. Do we care whether or not this candlestick is currently red? Should we care about that? Why should we care about it? It's forming a doji right now. And what does a doji?
Indecision.
Indecision. No one's winning.
Indecision.
100%, right? No one's winning at this moment. Now, if we had something like this, right, where we had, let's say, a green candle, right, like that, let's say it was a green candle and the entire body is full, that's different. But what do we have here? Wick at the top, wick at the bottom. If we have a wick at the bottom, at the top, what does that mean? Wick at the top.
Rejection.
Rejection of what though? Sellers? Are sellers present? Yes, 100%, right? If we see wicks at the top, for example, here, it means that sellers are definitely present. I mean, just look at the body. The body is so small compared to these both wicks. At the wick level, we have support. Now, taking this into account, how can you have trade SPY today, knowing that 411 was the previous support, and also knowing that 414 was also a critical support level that may turn into critical resistance. So if we go to the 5-minute time frame, let's see here. If we go to the 5-minute time frame, here's our levels: the 409, our 411, and our 414, and then we have our 415. Is this right here at this moment, is this a head and shoulders? Drop a 1 if you believe so. Drop a 2 if you don't think it's a head and shoulders. So I see lots of 1s, okay? On a head and shoulders, what do we look for to get in for puts? The neckline, right? And here's what I want you to show you. I want to show you how not everything is going to be 100% correct, right? Not everything is going to be 100% when it comes to the stock market. So for that reason, you may see something like this and you're like, where the heck is the neckline, right? So what you want to do is what? The neckline, when it comes to a head and shoulders, that signifies support, or does it signify resistance? Support all the way, right? So I'm trying to find, where do I have the most of the touches? And of course, I definitely have touches here, right? And I also have touches here. So anything between 410.36 to 410.13, and I also have support down here too. Look, I also have a lot of support around that 410 area. So when you have multiple touches like this, what you want to do is bring it into a zone and say, you know what? Anything between 410 If we break 410, that's when I'm going to get into puts. So I will just go ahead and get a square or a rectangle, and I will put it like this. So I will put something like that in green where it says, you know what, 410 right now is a very critical level for SPY. If we break 410, what should be your next PT? It's right here, by the way. It's on the chart, 409, right? Because 409 is where we have our critical support. We were able to hold support at that level. So there's often times where you can just use the 5 minute to understand what's going to be your profit targets. On Thursday, we talked about something very, very critical. We said one of the things you want to do is that you want to be able to come in here and you want to plot the different rejection points. So for example, here we have a rejection at this level of 413. Knowing that we have a rejection at the level of 413, what's going to be my entry for calls? Above 413, right? Because we know what? We know that, look, we have so much resistance, so much. And then this resistance then became support here. And it became support here. So now we are forming support. Should we get into a trade right now when it comes to SPY? Yes or no? Not at all. We don't know where this stuff is heading at. I mean, look at this. If I add the TTM squeeze, I should be able to see some dots. These are the days where it's more about, look, first green dot right here. Sorry, red dot. It's super choppy. These are the days where you honestly want to get away from the screens and just place alerts. Where I can say, you know what? Let me place an alert right here at this 413 level. Click on the plus sign, add an alert. If it hits that, then sure, I'll come back and look at it. And then I come to the 410 and I also place an alert. So now I have both alerts between 410 to 413. So if we have an alert from 410 to 413, is that a range, a zone of consolidation? Yes or no? 100%, right? So here's going to be our plan for today. SPY above 413 for calls, and then we're going to go SPY below 410 for puts, right? Because this signifies and this lets us know exactly where our critical levels of both resistance and also support are currently at. I'll take the question from Isaiah here when it comes to, please feel free to come off mute. So our first TP, and it's a really good question by Sadali. And again, here's how you can use the 5 minute time frame and what the 5 minutes letting you know. If 413 is our entry for calls, and we know that 414.97, aka 415, is another level of rejection, what's going to be our first PT? 415. And then what's going to be our other PT? Is this like, you got it, 416. You got it. So that's how I'm able to use TP stands for take profit. So that's where you would take profit, right? So you want to take profit at these different levels that you know that we might reject, et cetera, right? So 413 for first PT or take profit is going to be 415. Then of course 416 will be the next one. And again, I got these levels from the 5 minute based off of what I would see in today.